Welcome to another incredible session of the Power of Manifestation. I'm Andrea Miller, and I am thrilled to be hosting one of my favorite people, an incredible guest by the name of Michael Hunter, who is going to help all of us massively increase our vibe. We're talking about the law of resonance and why your vibe is your key to your manifestation success. And I can hardly think of a better person to be guiding us through this session today. Now, what if your frequency, not your focus, was the real secret to manifestation? In this high vibe embodied session, Michael, who is a licensed acupuncturist, energy expert, and founder of Spiral Life, and we'll talk about what that is, teaches us how to unlock intuitive flow, regulate our nervous systems, shift our energetic fields to manifest what actually serves our greatest, highest good, and so much more. Before I officially introduce Michael, though, I just want to remind you, if you have your manifestation, Power of Manifestation handbook, grab it because you're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to come back to highlights from the session. If you don't have it yet, no problem. You can go to thepowerofmanifestation.com to get it instantly. And you know what? If you're like, listen, I just have a notebook, that's fine too. But you'll want to take notes and make sure that you extract as much as you possibly can from this session. It is going to be a game changer for you. I promise. So with that, I am excited to introduce Michael Hunter. He is the visionary behind Spiral Life, which is a transformative program and community designed to help professionals escape the confines of modern conditioning and cultivate deeply aligned, abundant lives. Many of Michael's clients come to him feeling stuck or disillusioned, questioning, is this all there is? Although they may have achieved career success, they often grapple with issues in relationships, health, finance, or even a sense of purpose, sensing that something deeper is missing. Through Spiral Life, Michael guides individuals from a state of exhaustion and disconnection, I think we can all relate to that, into a natural flow, facilitating profound personal shifts. And this is something he himself has done extraordinarily in his own life and is brilliant at teaching others how to do it. Michael is also a licensed acupuncturist, energy healer, and expert in Taoist energetics who blends ancient wisdom, modern neuroscience, shadow work, and practical embodiment tools to help people stop forcing and start resonating. How does that sound? I am here for it. Michael, welcome.
Sounds good to me.
I know. I am excited because I've already learned so much from you, but it's like there's always more. There's always room for even more mastery, right? And I just want to start out by saying, it's like no matter if you're here, or here, folks, you can go higher, you can go deeper, you can go richer. And that's what this session in particular is about. And I mean, more is more when it comes to just having a richer, more fulfilling high vibe life. And that's what we are here for. So I'd like to begin with setting the stage for the session. According to the law of resonance, everything in the universe, including our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, emit a frequency. Simply stated, you attract experiences that match the frequency you're broadcasting. Our vibe is our reality. Most people try to manifest from their thoughts, but energy doesn't lie. It can't be faked. And that is the best news. That is the best news. So, Michael, you've said something to the effect of, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. Can you explain what that means and why it's so important to manifestation success?
Yeah, it's really like the critical juncture of successful manifestation, because what we want is our conscious mind thinking like, I want the new car, or I want the new relationship, or I want the new house, or I want the bigger bank account. But always running in the background is our subconscious, right? And it's subconscious because we're not conscious of it. So it's not participating in our conscious wants. It's running its own tapes, its own code in the background. And when those two are out of sync, manifestation doesn't work, because the dominant vibe is going to be the subconscious, because that's dominating your feeling state. I think it's really important to define what vibration is, what frequency means. right? So everything's vibrating, and vibration means things are moving back and forth, right? Einstein said everything's energy, that's all there is to it. And one of the characteristics of energy is it vibrates. So the waves of energy are moving back and forth, and they move back and forth in rhythm. And so frequency, which is measured in hertz, is a measure of rhythm. Just like in music, we measure in beats per minute, right? Disco music's like 100 beats per minute, and then like a slow, sad dirge is a lot less than that, 30 beats per minute. But we can actually talk about the vibration of music in terms of the beats per minute. And like high vibe music is more beats per minute. Slow.
And I'm here for it every day. I do my high vibe music. It's part of my jam.
Yeah,
totally.
The same thing is true with the vibration of energy. Instead of measuring beats per minute, we're measuring beats per second. It's just faster.
And when you say that, can you just translate that into what that means for a human being? So are you saying that those vibrations are our energy, that it's our energy vibrating, it's our, because we are 99.999% space, basically, right? When you think we are created by a set of atoms and then subatomic particles, neutrons, protons, electrons. So we as physical beings are actually vibrating, and our thoughts and feelings are impacting that vibration. Did I get that right?
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Right? Everything's energy. That's all there is to it. There's no matter where we think there's matter. There's no there. Everything, when you keep going down to further, smaller subatomic particles, they're just finding like, there's no matter there. It's all energy. It's all potential. It's all vibration. And so the sum total of the vibration that I'm offering into the space around me has everything to do with the physicality of my body, including my mood, how much sleep I got, what I ate. Like all of that's contributing to the vibration that I'm putting out. I can track the state of my vibration by my emotional state. So I can have some sense of like what vibration I'm putting out. So when I'm feeling optimistic, I'm putting out an optimistic vibe. It's the gestalt of what's happening in my body. When I'm feeling depressed, I'm putting out a depressed vibe. And they have different mathematical frequencies attached to them. So optimism is more like disco music, right? It's got a fast dance track, 100 beats per minute. Depression's more like a sad funeral dirge. It's slower. And the actual mathematical signature that we can measure, and we can buy a device from Radio Shack and stand a few feet away from my body and give a mathematical signal, like what's the dominant vibe coming off this guy mathematically? Oh, it's this many hertz. Like it's math, it's energy, it's science.
Right. Okay. So, and just on that note, for the music lovers out there like me, I mean, what you listen to matters. It really, really does. Right. So just saying, choose your music wisely, because the more that you listen to that high vibe, makes you feel good music. And by the way, we've all gone through breakups, and we've listened to that sad music, to like wallow in our sadness or whatever. Perfectly fine, in little chunks, but what you are taking in musically, it does matter. So thanks for giving me the chance to shout that out, Michael. Okay, so how does that translate from, we are all vibrational beings. We feel solid, but we're actually, 70, 80, 90% water, and even that is all vibrating. So when you say you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are, how do people become, and we've all heard this notion that we are all tuning forks. We're manifesting whether we want to or not. What do we do with that?
There's a lot we can do with it, but it's really important to recognize exactly what you just pointed to, that the smaller percentage of our thoughts are actually conscious. And that's where our wants live. Our desires live in our conscious, right? Like I want the house, I want the car, I want the relationship. But running in the background for all of us is old code, old limiting beliefs that we mostly adopted in childhood. And until and unless you transform those old limiting beliefs, there's going to be a mismatch between conscious and subconscious. So I can't say, I want the car, I want the house, I want the career, while meanwhile in my subconscious, I believe I'm not enough. I need to be afraid of life. I don't deserve this. When I have that kind of emotional posturing running in my subconscious, that's and since it's dominating, really my vibration is 95% my subconscious vibration, then the thing I'm sending out into the universe has a lot more to do with I'm not enough, I don't deserve this, than it does with I want the career, I want the life.
Right. Okay, so you talk about, and we'll get it, we are going to get in and make sure that people have steps to follow, but I think it's a great segue. You talk about manifestation as a full body process and versus this mindset process. So connect the dots for me, if you will, between this idea of resetting and healing our nervous system. It feels like essentially what you're saying is to get into that 95% of the unconscious that is running the show, that's where the embodiment really kicks in. Is that right?
The embodiment kicks in everywhere, but the most effective route to the subconscious is definitely through embodiment. But all of the work and the work that we do in our program at Upspiral Life is embodiment work. It's based in Taoism. And Taoism as a philosophy, the gift of Taoism, the invitation of Taoism is to find your way into reality through your body. It's embodied work, not so cognitive as it is embodied work.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that, I feel like I can't overemphasize that too as a, hey, yes, you absolutely need clarity on what it is that you want to manifest. At the same time, you could have that clarity, but without really going within and tapping into that 95%, it's going to be tough. And you said it yourself, Michael, like that was your life until you really decided you're going to go deep and go to that scary place.
Yeah, precisely. And, I still go to that scary place. And, you talked about it at the top of the show, like there's more information coming. There's more information coming. And as you were saying that, I was reflecting on there's actually not a lot of information. It's just repeating the basic steps over and over and over. It's just getting really good at the basics. And I'm still doing the basics every day of my life. Like I still am tending to the limiting beliefs that live in my subconscious, that live in my body. Like I'm pointing to my body because our subconscious beliefs, our limiting beliefs live in our anatomy.
Thanks for keeping it real. Right. And I think a good many of us, maybe most of us, are experiencing those limiting beliefs every day. And I think you nailed it in terms of, well, what do you do with it? And, I feel like I used to be much more inclined to let those limiting beliefs and, feeling defensive to feeling righteousness, keeping it real, everybody, feeling petty, where it's like the pro move is to look at that. In fact, the little hack that I've adopted recently is when I feel those difficult feelings, I see you is what I say to them. And I really try to invite them in versus what I would do before, hit the escape button, hit the eject button. And that caused me no end to hurt and heartache. It's like those feelings for me, they needed to be acknowledged. And I'll literally say, I see you, I accept you, you're part of me, what are you trying to tell me? Rather than being like, you're bad, I'm bad, like getting into this whole morass, it's changing my relationship to these so-called negative feelings, which are signals, right? And it's been interesting to me as I've done that, I feel like they've loosened their hold on me. And it has helped me become much more regulated.
They're functional parts of your system, and it depends on sort of the language we put around it. I like the language of internal family systems. IFS talks about this phenomenon in a really elegant and simple way, and we use it in our program. It's the core of our year-long program as internal family systems. My wife is actually she teaches for the institute.
And this is for Upspiral Life. You guys have, you say, a year-long program, and is it? Just take a minute because this could be a game changer for a lot of you listening and watching. Explain what exactly that is and what people get out of it, please.
So it's a 12-month program in our manifestation community. So the whole thing is delivered through a private app that we developed with the Apple App Store, and then the app serves as a portal into our community space. And inside the community space is an evergreen list of videos that articulates the Taoist position on manifestation. Taoism is the original law of attraction conversation. So it's got this embodied view of how to maximize our experience in life, which is law of attraction, is manifestation. Like, how do you get to the life you want? And there's some components to it. And the core component is this parts work, which we draw a lot from internal family systems. We draw a lot from multiplicity of the mind as it exists in other traditions, but most importantly in Taoism. And it's this idea that we are a higher self around which is organized a system of parts. And so when a part of me is angry, so when I feel anger, I can get some distance from that anger by recognizing I'm not angry, a part of me is angry. And I suddenly get a little distance, and the me that's then communicating with the anger is my higher self, my soul, right? The part of me that's going to threshold out of this body when this body dies. The part of me that's going to go back to the non-material from whence it came.
Yeah, it's so important to have that ability. Otherwise, so many of us have just made that unfortunate mistake. I don't want to say foolish, just because it's out of ignorance, that we become those. We become the anger, and we say, like, I am angry. Well, okay, if you say so. I am depressed, right? And so having that chance to create that distance, and we'll go a little bit more into limiting beliefs and some of the shadow work stuff that you do.
What is that? I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
But you've broken down kind of 5 main areas for us to go through today, starting with the easiest and most essential manifestation tool that many people miss. What is that?
We already talked about it. It's sleep and exercise.
Amen. That's free, Michael. That's free.
The World Health Organization has declared sleep deprivation to be a carcinogen. Based on
oh my gosh,
based on a meta-analysis of research that's available. Like, listen to that. The World Health Organization has declared sleep deprivation a carcinogen. What do they define sleep deprivation? Less than 6 hours of sleep a night chronically. That's a lot of people are booking in less than 6 hours a night chronically. Your immune system takes a hit from going less than 6 hours in one night. Your immune system dips. Sleep is so essential. I recommend to clients and to my family, to myself, nothing less than 7 hours. 7 hours is a minimum, as a bare minimum, just to achieve that embodied wellness that's possible from it. People ask me all the time, they'll come to me, oh, I need to do this manifestation thing. Can you give me this hack or this other thing? And I ask, how much sleep are you getting? Oh, 4 or 5 hours a night. Okay. How much exercise do you get? Oh, I do a sauna twice a week.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Right off the bat, I know that person. I'm excited for that person because I know if you clean up your sleep and you start moving your body every day, you're going to manifest the life you want without doing anything else. Like, it raises the bar so high. Everything after sleep and exercise is just refinement, truly. If you get plenty of sleep and exercise every day, it takes care of 75% of it. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I drink a cup of coffee and I go downstairs to my basement where I've got a little gym set up with some weights and treadmill and stuff. And I work out for 90 minutes. So I work up a big fat sweat for 90 minutes, or I'll go for a run outside. So I alternate run outside or work out in the gym. But anyway, 90 minutes, hardcore, sweaty.
In your body. That
in my body, embodiment.
Is really important. Yeah. No, I'm with you. And by the way, just everybody listening, I live in Colorado. I hike a ton. I used to run. I don't know. It's just not my jam anymore. But I know people hear exercise and I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to. It's like, find the thing that you like doing. And what I love to do as a hiker in Colorado, I listen to audiobooks. I listen to high vibe music. I talk on the phone. It is honestly one of my favorite parts of my day. So no excuses, people, for not using your body. If not every day, at least 4 or 5 times a week. Come on, do it for yourself. Do it for me too. Do it for Michael.
Yeah. Then after that, I sit down in front of an altar. I have an altar in my basement. I'm in my office. I'm in my office right now. The altar is right over there. And I kneel down in front of the altar and pray to my guardian angels, my spirit guides, and my well and wise ancestors, all of with whom I have long-standing relationships. One of the gifts of Taoism is this spiritual frameworks that are not religious. It's not about piety or religion at all, but it's about having an embodied connection to something greater than myself, which includes named beings. Archangel Michael is one of my protective archangels. And I pray to these people. And I say people because they're full spectrum beings. And when I have learned to pray over these decades to these full spectrum beings, I have a full spectrum relationship with them. So it's an embodied experience. So my body is the tuning fork, the vehicle through which I'm able to experience prayer. And so when I'm praying to these beings, I feel it come into my body. I'm having a somatic experience. It's blissful. It's not cognitive at all. It's like I'm just waiting for it to come in and settling myself into my own anatomy. And the exercise helps tremendously. And
it kind of primes you, right? You're kind of open.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Then I'm with them for 30 minutes, usually 30 minutes, sometimes up to 60, depending on what's happening in the day. By then, I'm usually in a pretty good place. But like I said earlier when we met, I won't go upstairs to be with my family if I am not in a positive place. I won't share negativity with my family. I just won't do it.
I love that. I love that so much. And even there, back to the megahertz and that spectrum of vibrations, all the in fact, we'll pop this on the screen. You may be familiar already with this, Michael, but there is a map of our emotional frequencies. At the very lowest, it's shame. And then at the very top, it's, I want to say bliss. And it goes from shame to, and I'm kind of making this up, but shame, maybe embarrassment, fear, self-doubt, and then you kind of get in that neutral space. And then as you go up and up, things like trust and joy and gratitude. To your point at the very beginning, we are energetic beings, and these feelings that we cultivate within, and like you said, you experience bliss, you cultivate bliss within yourself every single day. That is a conscious choice, and it's a conscious choice you keep making every day. And from what I recall when we spoke last, that you'll do even like mid-afternoon check-ins with yourself to continue to cultivate that high energetic, high vibe feeling. So that's how you show up. So you feel it, that's how you show up, that's what gets mirrored back to you. I mean,
I'm cultivating it every minute of every day, because when I feel an aversive emotion or a limiting belief come up, which happens all the time, right? Like someone will say something to me and I'll get triggered like, oh, why did that make me angry? Or why do I feel small in response to that? Just radical responsibility about anything that's coming up in me. People can provoke me or stimulate me to feel things, but if I'm feeling something, it's in me. And it's about a belief system that I'm holding. And so if I feel something aversive inside, I turn toward it and go, hey, what's up? Like, what are you protecting me from here? And I help transform that limiting belief. So I'm doing that all day, every day. So I'm tending my vibe all the time, because if I let those aversive feelings just flood me and, take me down a rabbit hole of like, oh, he pissed me off. And why did he piss me off? And I don't deserve that. And all the posturing that happens with being pissed off, then I'm pissed off.
But let's go a little bit deeper. You talk about how clearing limiting beliefs is essential to manifestation and lifting your vibe. Why is this, and how do we do it?
So this is the core of our program. And it's so important because so much of the talk in the law of resonance, the law of vibration, this whole conversation, that especially as we see it on social media, is about what I call like the sunny side of the experience. The affirmations, the tapping, the scripting techniques, all the really great techniques that do help us get really clear on what we want and create a thinking vibration about where we want to be. None of that stuff has any sticking power if running in the background is old code of limiting beliefs. Like I can really get my thinking in a great place. Like I believe in myself. I'm going to have the career. I'm going to have the family. I'm going to have the money. I believe all that. Like I can
you got
feel
the
like
hype,
what
Michael.
that feels
you
like.
got the hype.
Yeah. I can hype myself up through all these great techniques, but if running in the background nonetheless all the time, because I've never attended to it, is the shadow side of myself where I go, I don't deserve this, or
you doubt, you really doubt your worthiness.
I doubt that I'm worthy. And these are belief systems that were adopted in childhood, right? All of us have
sometimes talking about the different, the ancients and so forth. I mean, in childhood plus generations before us, right? Like when you think about generational trauma and just what is handed down genetically or epigenetically, that includes addiction. That includes all sorts of scarcity, right? There's all sorts of research, like if somebody went through a famine, how that can impact, and it may skip a generation, and it can impact not the next generation, but the next generation, or epigenetically, those genes get expressed. So it's not even just what happened in our childhood. It is like we got stuff to do from maybe centuries before, potentially.
Yeah, and this work that we can do, this parts work, is we can find where those belief systems live in our bodies, right? So the first move with this work is always, so where do you feel the anger in your body? Oh, I feel it in my throat. Yeah, that's where I feel it. Okay, great. Can you turn toward that feeling in your throat? And just ask it how old it is. When did it take on the belief that it needed to be angry to protect you? Check in with that spot. Oh, dang, it's 5. It's 5. And so I'm sort of mimicking what the process is like. But it's like that. We just go into our body and find it where it is in our body, and we turn toward it, and we create a relationship with it. And through relationship, these aversive emotions can transform. So the part that's holding anger is actually tying up a lot of resources in my system. It's tying up resources trying to protect me from something that happened when I was 5.
So Michael, you're going to walk us through an exercise, and I think it might be on parts. Should we do that now, or do you want to wait and plan to do that toward the end?
Yeah, why don't we do it now?
Yeah, that'd be great. Do you want to walk me through one, or how do you want to go for it?
Yeah, so why don't you drop your awareness from your head into your heart and pretend that you're breathing in and out of your heart. Just anchor your awareness there. And just scanning in or around your body, Andrea. What parts are here that might want some attention? Parts that hold beliefs of limitation, because we're never without them. They're always on board.
Michael, this is so surprising. It feels like my arms.
Yeah, what's the belief?
Oh gosh, that I have to, oh my God, I'm going to cry. By the way, everybody, do it with me. Don't make me do it by myself. That I have to hold it all.
So just keeping your awareness on your arms and this part that holds this belief, I have to hold it all. Just breathing. We got you, Andrea. That's good. This is what it is, right? This is the work. This is the difficult work that you do every day, turning toward these parts, and you're doing the right thing. Breathing in and out of your heart. Andrea, do you have a sense that this part in your arms that has the belief it has to hold it all, does it know that you're here with it?
Oh, maybe a little bit now.
Yeah. I want you to just gently ask it how old it was when it took on this belief that it has to hold it all.
Oh my God, so long ago. I was so little.
Yeah. What number's coming back?
Maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah. Andrea, do you see this little 4 or 5-year-old in space in front of you with your eyes closed like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does it feel safe to invite her to come sit in your lap?
She's so cute, yeah.
So just hold her in your lap and rub her back. Just with your vibe, let her know she's safe. And just tell her, I'm here with you and you're safe. And use your voice. Tell her, I'm here with you and you're safe.
I'm here with you and you're safe.
And just invite her to tell you what was going on at that time for her. You probably know the narrative, but let her retell it in her own words, and she's going to flood you with memories and images as she retells it. So let that happen. Invite that. Just say, what do you need me to know? Say that to her.
What do you need me to know? Oh my God, she felt so lonely.
Yeah, she felt so lonely. Andrea, how are you feeling toward this little girl right now?
Oh my God, I've got so much compassion.
Tell her that. I've got so much compassion for you.
I knew it was a lot.
Yeah. Tell her how you feel.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. It was hard.
How's she receiving this, Andrea?
Oh my God, just with so much gratitude and calm and just just finally relaxing.
And what's interesting is that at such a young age, she did such an adult thing, right? I don't know what the narrative was, and I don't need to know, but I know that at that age, we're utterly dependent on our caregivers and our family. And so when a 4 or 5-year-old takes on the belief, I need to hold it all, they're doing it out of fierce loyalty to their family, fierce loyalty to the family system. She's going to step up and take her burden, take her share of what the family's facing, whatever it was. And so knowing that about this little girl, this courageous thing that she did, how do you feel toward her?
Oh my God, she's a badass. Loyal. Yeah, no, loyal and fearless. And so you're so considerate. And you just did what you needed to do. And I admire that.
How's she hearing that?
Yeah, she's like, duh. Like I had to. Yeah, no, she's acknowledging, and it feels good to kind of have that part reclaimed, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. How else are you feeling toward her, Andrea?
Oh my God, just so grateful. I mean, both grateful and sad, just sad that there's been that sense of separation and that burden that
So
she's
tell
carried.
her, one of the things that kids like this who go through these experiences, no safe adult has ever validated their experience, the complexity of their experience. And it's a really corrective experience for you to validate her. I'm sad for you as an adult. I see what you went through, this loss of this portion of your childhood. It's sad. So tell her, I'm sad for you.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It makes me sad that you had that loneliness and had to carry that burden. And I admire your strength. I admire that you did what you needed to do. And I'm sorry that you had to. It makes me really sad.
How's she receiving all this?
Just with so much calm. It's like, God, okay, I can put it down is how it feels, Michael. Like I feel like, oh, arms? I got arms. No.
So we're going to finish up this piece here. Beautiful work, Andrea. I want you to make a contract with this little girl from this day forward. And the contract is this: if she ever needs to get your attention so that she can get this level of holding and acknowledgement and nourishment from you as an adult, when she needs you, adult Andrea, on the scene, all she has to do is give you that feeling of, I have to hold it all. When you feel that, I have to hold it all again, she's calling out and saying, Andrea, I need you right now. I need you to hold me. I need you to see me. Is that a contract you can make going forward from this day? Okay. And then the last thing, I want you to just invite her where she wants to go in your body. It could be back to your arms, it could be to your heart. You let her choose, and then agree.
Okay. Oh, I feel that just so powerfully in my chest. I mean, it really feels like there's a wholeness and a reclamation that I definitely didn't expect. Wow, Michael, that was powerful.
Let's step out of this really carefully right now, because this is shamanic work and we want to have respect for this, for your system. So returning your awareness back to your heart and breathing in and out of your heart, anchor there. And reaffirming your commitment to this little girl and the relationship as it stands now going forward. One more breath through your heart, and then gently come back to the conversation, eyes open.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was really powerful and beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome. This is the beginning of a relationship, right? And this is how you relate to that part of you in a way that helps her transform. Right? And you started to see her. She's already like, oh, I can put this down because you're on the scene. A safe adult is on the scene. I don't have to do that. I can put this down, right? And it's not a one and done. You can't expect her to put this down and never do that again. It's going to be a relationship and a cultivation so that she can start to put it down so regularly that she eventually stops picking it back up. And then the resources of that part of you that were tied up, literally tied up, holding everything and thinking you had to hold everything. A whole segment of your psyche was occupied with thinking you had to hold everything, will eventually be resources that are available for your system to do something else, to hold something else, or be creative about some other chosen endeavor instead of by default thinking I have to hold everything.
Right. No, it's so powerful. Let me just ask you a question related to that. So for me, I mean, in that moment, I felt in my arms, which I didn't expect. I thought for sure it was going to be my stomach or chest. But that's not the only part that needs to be probably acknowledged and reclaimed. So for, people watching and listening, I mean, the idea is, and it's just this, and for me too, as I march forward in my life, it's not just this, there are other parts that are going to need to be seen and reclaimed, basically, right?
It's an endless parade of parts. I do parts work with myself just like this every single day. Parts work is not a process that you get to the end of. It's a paradigm that you shift into. This is how I relate to myself now, because it's so consequential and high functioning to relate this way. And it's so radically self-responsible. Well,
and then you get to, like you say, show up high vibe for your family, show up high vibe, create an extraordinary life for yourself as you've done, doing work that you love. As we were talking about before the interview started, you get to do exactly what you love. And you created that for yourself. And that, I mean, to me, when I think back to the law of resonance, to do work we love and be in relationships with people we love, these are choices we get to make. And I feel like there's a lot of times we don't necessarily feel like we can make those choices. But there's a big, and that's maybe part of the 95% that needs to get cleared out, because that's a limiting belief.
That's a limiting belief. Yeah.
Just going back to the limiting beliefs where we were talking about the 95% that's in our bodies versus just from up here, because in my experience, I can hype myself up. I'm a big brain thinker, and I used to be way more in my head. Getting into my body has been genuinely one of the biggest game changers that I've given myself. And I say this especially because when things go wrong, when those limiting beliefs show up, when it's like it's easy to be high vibe when everything's going right. And to me, when I think about, you can stay in that, you're really clear about the expectations and so forth and what you desire, but it's when things start to go south, and they go south almost, I mean, I feel like there's something that hits, if not every day, once a week. There's something. I mean, it's like the air condition breaks down. It's like this happened. They don't have to be major, and then the major things happen. And so just back to the disconnect between what's in our conscious minds and trying to manifest from there, which is not extremely effective, not especially effective at all. And then I guess the other one there, I've had the experience up until relatively recently, it was like because of my own limiting beliefs, I really had a hard time owning what I wanted and feeling like I deserved it, right? And it's only been doing, the embodiment work and the this kind of shadow work that I have crossed the Rubicon and now genuinely feel, and now I manifest. I mean, the things that I get to do are incredible. But I had to do all that work to get to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I deserve that. I deserve that. Right. Yeah. And for me, growing up, it was like, ooh, don't shine too brightly. Don't talk too loud. You know, like a lot of those things as little me I don't remember how much of it was express versus implicit, but the message to me was, you know, love is earned. You got to perform. You got to work real hard. I mean, that's been my biggest things. Can we just dispel that myth right now, Michael, you and me? That, like, let's just say, F that. Let's not make it about the grind. Let's make it about, like, yeah, you do the work, but it can be joyful and blissful, right? Versus it always having to be so hard. And then the grind I always think is linear, right? When we're talking about X, Y, Z has to happen and it has to take all this time. But my experience, I think yours too, when you change your vibe, when you do this kind of work, things can happen real fast.
They really do. And it's like what Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about. You can manifest from matter, and that's where you're putting all of your attention in the outside world. That's the grind, right? Where I'm putting all my energy and I'm grinding to get results. You can get results, you can earn a living, or I can take all of that effort and turn it inward and get myself aligned, you know, untangle my limiting beliefs, choose to feel good, like choose to have the feeling state that I want. And when we give ourselves permission to choose our feeling state, everyone feels good. Like no one wants to feel like crap. So the choice is always feeling good. So when you turn that energy and that attention toward managing your mind, your mouth, and your mood, that's it.
Mind, mouth, mood. Okay.
Yeah. If you manage your mind, your mouth, and your mood and spend most of your energy doing that, then things happen in the external circumstances effortlessly. That's manifestation.
Well, you know, and I just want to jump in there. I think of it like the ultimate BOGO, the ultimate buy one, get one free, because if you're regularly feeling gratitude and regularly feeling joy, and if you're as good as you are, Michael, maybe every day you're feeling even bliss, right? That to me is an end in itself. Right. And yeah, we want the success, so we want the relationships and all that stuff. But when I think back to all that stuff, probably doesn't mean, I mean, at least it's been in my case. And yes, I have big dreams and I'm doing a ton of stuff, but every day I'm like, man, I have it all right now because I'm grateful and I'm joyful and I get to connect with amazing people like you. So, you know what? If I don't get the external stuff, I actually have already what matters most, and I am joyful and at peace. I never put the kind of attention on being peaceful and present as I do now. And it's like, that is a game changer. And I know it's like, duh, Andrea, where have you been? But I think I'm like most people. I've been grinding as a working mom, like trying to, you know, manifest from matter, right? And then you go, oh, but there's a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. The irony is that the end state of all the external circumstances that we want, the house, the car, the career, the lover, the end state is feeling good. Like, yes. Why do I want the new house? Because I'm going to feel good when I live in the new house.
Happy.
Yeah. Right. And if you instead just put all your attention on feeling good right now, then you get to the end state destination. And ironically, then all the other stuff starts to show up really easily.
That's the power move, Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes back full circle so fast. It's like, well, yeah, it's that. I would love to show a fun clip that I shared with you earlier today, just kind of talking about limiting beliefs, making it a little more contextually relevant for all the J-Lo fans. You're welcome.
That idea of like, stop thinking that way, start thinking in a more positive way was really great. Because I always thought that idea of like, if you change the thought, you can change how you feel. And I needed desperately to change how I felt in that moment. And I think that's the important thing, is that we have the power to create and change our lives and be the person that we want to be. We have to do the work. You know what I mean? Like, it was work for me to finally, go, okay, I need to be on my own. That's not a place that's comfortable for me, but that's something that I need to do so that I know I'm okay on my own. I need to take a good look at myself. It's like, what are you doing wrong? This is not just about other people. This is about you. and you have to take responsibility for your life. So
you were saying you were looking for acceptance from the outside all the time. From the time you were little, instead of finding it from within.
It was like you're looking for that all the time instead of just knowing, like, I am great. I am great. I'm a great person. I'm a good person. I try to do the right things. I try to, and I never gave myself that credit. I never gave myself credit for being good at anything, I realized. Like, I always believed that you're always more apt to believe the negative things that people say about you than the positive things, because you're not telling yourself the positive things enough. We're always telling ourselves the negative things. And I feel like that's something that I've needed to learn how to do. So when I say things like that, I love myself or I love this, it's not a thing that comes from being arrogant or conceited. It comes from having to build yourself up from within, because those voices that we hear are always the ones that are more negative. And that's destructive, I think, and it makes us make bad choices in life.
Are those voices getting weaker?
I battle those voices all the time, and I always, again, it's always about kind of reminding myself, like, you are worthy to have a good life and to have a good relationship and to have, be successful. You deserve all of those things. Everybody does.
Michael, what are your thoughts on this? And let me actually ask you this. I feel like people can confuse like thinking positive thoughts with manifestation. And while, there is some degree of, the power of positive thinking, but can that kind of mess people up if they're just like, I just need to think positive thoughts?
No, because it is a pathway, right? Like we can't divorce from the thoughts, right? So there is such a thing as better feeling thoughts, and I can reach for better feeling thoughts all day long. So I can think a thought that feels good in the moment when I think it, and then, but if I have an old code running in the background, my vibe will dip again, but then I can reach for another better feeling thought. You can keep doing it all day long. But for me, it's kind of the slow boat, because you have to be so tendy on keeping your thoughts in that higher vibe place. It's a path, and it's a
that's what we were talking about a few minutes ago. Like, if you're just doing it cerebrally from your brain, from your mind, right? You're just from your head, like you say, it's a slow boat, and it is a boat that I would say not only just slow, but not as stable, right? You hit choppy waters, and it's like, whoa, I'm out of here.
It's a lot of work because, like you say, hit choppy waters. If you have limiting beliefs that are running in the background and you're just trying to float above them all the time, as soon as you get into an interaction that stimulates one of those limiting beliefs, then you're really down in the dumps. And I think it's a much better move to begin to transform the limiting beliefs so they're not holding so much charge, and also keep looking for better feeling thoughts. But you don't need to reach so hard for better feeling thoughts, because when the limiting beliefs have been transformed, they're not holding so much charge, you're naturally more buoyant in your cognition. So it's just less work over the long haul to do it this deeper way, I think.
I that totally tracks with my experience, and thanks for validating that. It's like, it just freaking gets easier. Like, it just gets easier. But, I give, props to J-Lo for keeping it real. Anything else you want to add based on that clip?
Yeah, so I love J-Lo, just big respect to her and how she lives. But she said right toward the end, I battle those thoughts all the time. And the invitation in the work that you and I did is, don't get into a battle with the little girl who's thinking that she has to hold everything. No, get into a relationship with her. It's not a battle. You're not fighting her, trying to put her down. She's been put down. She's been in the shadows your whole life. And it's about being in relationship, not in battle.
Oh my God, I love that so much. I mean, everybody listening, it is not about being in battle. And I just so love, I didn't expect that. That is such a great way to connect the dots. And that's how I have thought, and sometimes I'm going to keep it real, how I think so many of us get into that same thing. Like, I'm battling those emotions. I'm battling that old stuff. But Michael's point about being in relationship with these things, being curious about them, inviting that little part of you, or whatever, at whatever point the thing became really hard. Maybe it's not a 4 or 5 like it was for me. Maybe it's in your teens and something really tough happened, like or older, right? Maybe you got divorced and it was like, oh, that's the thing that crushed me. So yes, Michael, I love that it is a transformation to go from battling to inviting and being curious.
Yeah.
That is transformational.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it's interesting from a vibration standpoint. So when you're in a battle mode, right, it's not the lowest vibration on the scale, but it's not the highest when you're in fight mode. But when when you shift instead into curiosity, curiosity is a very high vibration. So if you have this aversive emotion, I have to hold everything, right? That's a lower vibe emotion. But as soon as I get curious about it, that's not me. That's a part of me holding a limiting belief. I'm curious about you. Now my dominant vibration is curiosity. And all of a sudden, just right out of the gate, I'm raising my vibration. And so by law of resonance, the universe will start to send me more reasons to be curious about my life, more reasons to be in that higher vibration. That's how it works. It's
a practice. I mean, it's a choice. And I think about, every day, like I keep writing, I was saying before, like I underestimated the power and value of peace in my life. Now I'm like, I choose peace, and I've had some really challenging things happen in my life relatively recently. And it's like that, kind of that more inclined to be dysregulated or reactive part of me wants to run amok. And I'm like, whoa. I'm going to be curious. And I'm going to, it becomes a process and a practice it's taken me so much deeper, and it's gotten easier, as we were talking about. But it's not a one and done. Folks, it is not a one and done. If you think this is a one and done, oh, sorry to break your heart. But the good news is, like we were just talking about, it does get easier. And I feel so like, I, without kind of oversharing, came from a family with a lot of alcoholism and addiction and, a lot of really challenging, really devastating and even deadly eating disorders. So just a lot of things that made my life growing up really, really challenging. And so when I think about having the great gift of having teachers like you and just being willing to do the work, it's like, great, I've transformed.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay, so now we're on to the next section. Thank you. You talk about energetic anatomy. What is that, and why is it essential for manifestation?
It's my favorite topic. And the reason is, so all of the religions on the planet, all of the wisdom traditions, they agree on one thing. They disagree on a lot, but they agree on one thing. And the one thing they all agree on is that there's an aspect of our awareness that thresholds out of the body and goes to a non-material place, right? Christianity and some of those religions call it the soul, and the soul going to a higher place.
And would you say is that consciousness? Or is that like super consciousness? Not to get too technical and to necessarily label it, and we can just go back.
Yeah, there's 1,000 different labels we can put on it, right? But just suffice it to say, there's an aspect of our awareness that carries on after the death of the body. The body goes back to the ecology of the earth, right? And also implied in a lot of the traditions is that this aspect of our awareness came into the body at some point, right? Of course, it makes sense. So this aspect of our awareness, this non-material aspect of us, our soul, comes into the body at birth. We live the 80 to 100 years, whatever we get. That's earth school, like we're here going to earth school. And then we threshold out at that experience. And the body, the ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? This thing goes back to the ecology of the earth. Well, it turns out the soul is not just some amorphous blob of energy. Right? This aspect of our awareness is not just some hazy blob of energy. It's a highly articulated, highly structured scaffolding. And the wisdom traditions of the East especially know what the shape of this thing is. And in fact, most of us are aware of what the shape of this thing is. If we've ever studied yoga or even looked at a yoga poster, we've seen the chakra system. The chakra system is the simplest articulation of this structure of our soul. It's our energetic anatomy. And why it's so important is it's our primary anatomy, right? Because we came from the non-material, come into this body. This is earth school, temporary life experience. We're just here away at school. And then we go back home to the non-material. The thing that's coming into the body is the chakra system. Articulating around that energetic anatomy is my physical anatomy, right? This body grows up around the energetic anatomy. Then the energetic anatomy takes the imprint of this experience, so it remembers it, right? Takes the imprint of this whole life experience, and it thresholds out. And this body, the physical, back to the earth, ashes to ashes. Our primary anatomy is our chakra system. It comes before our physical anatomy. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not physical beings having a spiritual one, even though that's how we're conditioned to believe we are today. I'm a physical being, and if I meditate and pray enough, I'll have a transcendent spiritual experience. That's backward. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience for 80 to 100 years, and then we threshold out. Why is this so consequential? It's so consequential for law of attraction because tapping into our energetic anatomy gives us access to the wider quantum field, which is a sea of energy. It's a sea of resources that are available to us if we would only plug in and turn on our chakra system. It's literally unplugged from the wall for most people. You have to go through the procedures of turning on the chakras, lighting them up, powering them up, and it allows you to run source energy through your body, which is the most blissful experience on the planet. And talk about manifesting from matter versus manifesting from the field. Manifesting from matter is a low energy experience. It's exhausting. It's I can't wait for retirement experience.
It's the grind. Just let me do Netflix and chill, right? Like I'm just tired.
Manifesting from the field when you wake up your chakra system is an experience of running source energy. It's an experience of abundant energy, the likes of which you can't get access to any other way. And so, the work that we do, it's like this twofold work. So, we come into these lives with emotional containers that are resilient and full and wide open. And then through early childhood experiences, we begin to adopt postures. I'm not good enough. I need to hold the world. I'm in shame. And we start to squinch down our emotional container. Through the work, the shadow work you and I did, the parts work, we can start to restore the full dimensions of that container. And now with a fully restored container, fully reclaimed container, we light up the chakra system in there. And now we got a big space that we can run source energy through. And the combination of those two things is what we do in our program. And that's where the magic of manifestation really shows up, because then we're by default manifesting from the quantum field.
What do you think? Do you want to walk me through an exercise, or what do you think is the best way to communicate, even to give people a taste of what that can feel like? Is that something that you're down for?
Yeah, totally. And all of this work is very pedestrian. None of this is like highfalutin, out of reach kind of stuff. Everyone possesses this architecture inside. Everyone has the equipment. And this is just about like turning it on. And it's like, you turn this on, you're like, oh, that's been sitting around there I never knew what that was for.
Thank you.
Now turn on.
This big disconnect. Like, why are we only finding out about this stuff? Because you talk about how like the Taoists were the original people that came up with the law of attraction and the woo. And it's like they knew thousands of years ago, but it, took me a couple extra minutes to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's this interesting moment when the soul takes the body that Taoism articulates really beautifully. And in the very first moments of conception, when the sperm meets the egg inside the mother's womb, the potential for a human is there because there's a single-celled organism that gets formed that has a full complement of DNA. But the Taoists say that thing is not yet a human. It's the potential for a human. What happens 12 hours later is that cell divides in two. A fissure forms down between, a spacious fissure forms down between those two cells. Now there's two cells separated by a space. And that very first moment, that very first fissure is your first act of agency as an embodied being. That's when your soul, your consciousness comes into the physical. And the first choice you make on this planet is, I'm going to take a body. And that's the moment. And that fissure that gets formed is the very first acupuncture channel. We call it the central channel. And it exists in the fully developed adult. So it exists right down the center of your body from pointing to the top of my head. It exists right down the center of your body from the top of your head, down through the middle of your head, the middle of your neck, the middle of your chest, the middle of your abdomen, all the way to your perineum, deep in the bowl of your pelvis. There's 2 acupuncture points on that channel, one on the top of your head and one on your perineum. Otherwise, that channel is internal. We call that the central channel. It's formed in that very first moment, and it persists through the full development of the human. This is the foundational piece of the chakra system. All of the chakras are arranged along this central channel. So the embodied work is to begin by making ourselves aware of the central channels. I'm happy to talk us through an exercise. And like I said, it's pedestrian.
I love it. Bring it.
Showing you where the light switch is.
Get excited, everybody. You're going to get something real, even more. So good. Yeah, we did the hard, sad, like make me cry stuff. Now I want to feel, what did you say? Radiant bliss, Michael?
Radiant bliss. Let's bring it on. Yeah. So the move is just get comfortable in your body. If you're sitting down, just kind of sit on your sits bones and make sure your spine is kind of straight but comfortable. And keep your hands in your lap if you can, palms kind of facing up but comfortable. And allow your awareness to float to the very top of your head. And find there the acupuncture point. 100 meetings, it's called. And open that acupuncture point with your mind about 3 centimeters. So, holding up my fingers, it's, silver dollar, $50 size. Just open it up. And then allow the central channel to open up as a spacious column of energy and light, plunging down through the center of your brain, the center of your neck, center of your chest, right through the middle of your heart, down through the center of your abdomen, down past your navel, down deep into the bowl of your pelvis, where it emerges on your perineum, and open the acupuncture point there about the same diameter. And then notice the spacious column of light from the top of your head through the center of your body to your perineum. And just allow your awareness to rove gently up and down this column, this central channel. This is the core of you. This is more you than your own hands and feet. This is you. Welcome home. And gently now, allowing your awareness to find its way into your heart center, which is one of the main chakras arranged along this central channel. And pretend that you're breathing in and out of your heart center. And allow that your heart, physically as an organ, is quite literally equidistant from the front of your chest to the back of your back. Equidistant from side to side. And allow that your heart is like a radiant sun inside the middle of your chest, radiating out and gently expanding and contracting with the rhythm of your breath. This is more you than your face, more you than your arms and legs. This is your primary anatomy. And we're going to go through an activation sequence now to really bring energy to the heart center as the first chakra that we awaken. So on the next breath, allow that the radiant sun in the middle of your chest starts to collapse in upon itself, down to the infinitesimally small center at the center of itself. Collapsing down, using your mind to collapse it down, 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 cascading down into the infinitesimally small center of itself. And soon you notice that it has its own gravity pulling itself down, and it requires no more effort on your part because it's pulling itself toward the center of itself, cascading gently down, down with the rhythm of your breath, down, 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 until you're so far below the material that you've reached into the other side of the non-material, and you touch with your awareness home, 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 and dwell in this place for a moment, in this infinitesimally collapsed infinity of home. And on the next breath, gently reverse the direction and begin to slowly expand out from the infinity of the small, the infinity of the non-material, expanding gently out, 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 and notice the expansion taking on momentum of its own, gently, gently, gently. And now the radiance is about the size it was before you collapsed it, and now it's actually engulfing your whole body, a radiant sun. Your body has disappeared because the radiant sun is so large, and now it's filling the room that you're in so large, and it's continuing to expand. And now the house that you're sitting in is completely engulfed by this radiant sun, and it continues to expand. And now it's visible on the map from space in the town you're in. Your radiant sun is just expanding and expanding, and it's larger than the earth itself now, and it's racing out into the finer confines of space, into the infinity of the darkness beyond, and the radiant sun of your chest is filling all of space and the universe. And on the next breath, allow that radiant sun to return to its regular size in your chest, expanding and contracting with the rhythm of your breath, gently, gently. And you have now activated your heart chakra. And that's the slow way to do it. You can, with practice, do it really quickly. But the move is to touch home from whence you came and to the place you'll return when you threshold out of this body, when you finish Earth School.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so powerful. I mean, the whole thing was so powerful, just starting with, from you said the opening on the top of the head down to the perineum, and just feeling, like literally feeling that channel. And I love how you said, this is more you than your arms, legs, and face. I'm like, oh, I feel that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this is a profound resourcing. And as you get accustomed to practicing this and touching in with the central channel and the heart chakra especially, anytime there's distress or anytime you need to center, just bringing your awareness to the heart, the central channel and the heart chakra, breathing in and out of your heart. You know, I'm doing it 100 times a day. Just any moment I have, just to resource from that place, right? To run source energy through my body, because it helps take care of all the rest of the work.
God, that's a hack, Michael.
It's a total hack. Yeah. Yeah. So and we all have the equipment to do it, right? Like we've been birthed into these race car bodies, but most of us have only ever been using them to go buy groceries. And when
I love
you really
that.
know what this thing can do.
I want to go Formula One.
Yeah, you can be, it's a Formula One vehicle, right?
No, I love that. And just again, folks, as a practical matter, just to repeat what Michael just said, that he's doing it 100 times a day. And maybe you're being a little bit flippant about that or not. And so
not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So when I think about, like, if you're like, listen, that's 500 minutes, however long, I think that was maybe a 5-7 minute exercise. But what I love, what I'm going to do with that, Michael, is it's like, I feel like once it's primed, like you just primed in me, like then to just, it's like, oh, I can, in my mind's eye and in my body, it's like, oh, I can get there. Like top of my head, down to my perineum, feeling that channel of light. Like for me, it was like a silver white light. I'm guessing people can pick whatever color they want, like you can tailor make it to however it just feels most authentic to you. But I think your point of, hey, you can access that anytime, and that the more you access it, the more like this, like less than this.
It happens so fast. Yeah, I talked you through it because it was the first time, right? So I did it really slow, but I do it 100 times a day. I don't do that full long thing. I just check in, boom, there, done. I've done it 30 times since we started talking.
You're two-timing me over here, Michael. That's so funny. No, but I love that. Like, that's a hack. And so back to the very beginning of the law of resonance and the promise of this session, it is back to how this, while we can say it's a hack and that makes it, maybe it sound a little like not as valuable, but to me, I say hack with the most reverence. And it's like, it's a practice that you people and me people can, and because you're already doing it 100 plus times a day, Michael, that this idea that it becomes an embodiment tool. It becomes that back to the tuning fork. How do you want to be the most high vibe tuning fork you can be? Do this. And if 100 times a day seems overwhelming, 5 times a day, then 10 times a day. If you say, in fact, I think it's Regan Hilliard talks about how setting the alarm on your phone. If you set your alarm on your phone once an hour and then check in even once an hour with what you're talking about, Michael, eventually it becomes habitual. Like then it becomes internalized.
Yeah. And then what you're doing is you're living from your primary anatomy. You're living from the part of you that's more you than this body, because this body's on loan. It's a rental costume that's going back to the earth. And the real you exists in infinite space-time. And you're going back, like you've read the near-death experience literature, right? We all know there's going to be a tunnel of white light. At the end of that tunnel is going to be a guardian angel, and we're going to sit down and do a life review of what happened. We're going to unpack Earth School. You came into this body from this place. This is more you. This what I'm talking about. So it's such a better experience to relate to the world from the primary you first than all of the narrative and limiting beliefs that came second.
Yeah, no, it's really going back to home, to source. And I've never heard of it described like that. Like this is more you than your physical being, and that we're, this idea that we're energetic spiritual beings first, and that this is how we tap into it, soul essence. It's like, oh, no wonder we feel fucked. No wonder we feel disconnected. I probably need to not use bad words in this one. And that devastating sense of separateness. I was writing in my journal this morning how separateness to me has been death. It has felt like death. That searing sense of rejecting myself, disconnecting from myself. And what you're training us to do, Michael, it's so beautiful. It's like coming home to self, right? First from the parts work and the shadow work, and then through this energetic work where, oh, I don't ever have to feel separate again, right? Or maybe if I do, I know how to get back home real quick. Maybe I want to manage my own expectations. But that, wow, game changer.
It is a game changer. Yeah. That's why we have a program built all around it, because this is the work, this is the invitation of Taoism. This is why the Taoists this is why they survived, this philosophy survived for 5,000 years, was because they came up with these ideas in this shamanic culture and started writing it down. And it's a good idea.
Well, it's a great idea. It is highly rational, and it freaking works. And it's amazing how this one in particular, this ancient wisdom, this ancient tradition has managed to persist. It reminds me, so I live in Colorado, as you know. There are these juniper trees that I think they can be thousands of years old, and they can get like one drop of water, and they go through the cracks in the stone, and they persist in it. And that's almost what it reminds me of. And it's like, oh my gosh, there is something so hardy about those trees, just like there's something so hardy and valuable in these principles that you're teaching, that even though they somehow manage to be eclipsed in a lot of modern, around the globe, and yet there is this hardiness that has enabled them to persist. And people like you have said, okay, let me go all in, let me teach them, because this is the way.
Yeah. This is the way.
Michael, I'm going to give you full reign. We got maybe just a handful of minutes left. We're going to maybe talk spirit guides. Is that where you want to go? Or you tell me, because I just want to make sure you have full latitude to bring this really back home, this session, kind of to an amazing conclusion.
Yeah, I think the one thing we haven't touched on so much is spirit guides. And so, waking up our chakra system, waking up our primary anatomy in the way that we did, it allows us to run source energy through us, right? And we talk about in law of attraction, law of resonance, sending your vibe out to the universe. Well, right there, we're in a spiritual conversation. When I say sending my vibe out to the universe, it's a very antiseptic, science-safe way to talk spirituality. The universe. The universe will send me back what I want, kind of magically. But what we're really saying is like we're sending our vibe out to higher powers that are going to answer us back from the quantum field. The quantum field's another safe way to talk about it. But the truth is that the quantum field is not just some amorphous blob of energy. It's an articulated field filled with other beings, higher intelligences, specific frequencies that show up and can be related to as a specific frequency. You know, think about the metaphor of the ocean, right? If the ocean is all that is, right? If the ocean is the quantum field and me as an individual in the ocean, I'm a wave, right? I'm cresting, and I'm eventually, after 80 to 100 years, I'm going to break on the shore and return to the ocean. And those are not the only two ends of this. Those are not the only two things we can talk about the ocean. We could talk about the whole ocean. We could talk about this little wave, but I could also talk about the riptide off the Northern Californian coast. It's a lot bigger than a wave, but it's a lot smaller than the ocean. It lasts a lot longer than a wave, but it doesn't last as long as the whole ocean, which is ongoing forever. So the riptide off the Northern California coast is an articulated thing that has characteristics and personality and does its thing. It's a higher being. That's the equivalent of a guardian angel, right? Would be this larger force, bigger than the wave, actually has agency over all the thousands of waves that are breaking along the Northern California coast, but is itself much smaller and less permanent than the entire ocean. The same is true for the non-material, the quantum field that we're all living in all the time, right? Material realities emerging from this non-material space over and over, moment by moment by moment. That's what quantum physics tells us. We have the capacity, when we wake up our energetic anatomy, to be in conversation with higher beings on the other side. The high consequence beings that I love to talk to are the guardian angels, Archangel Michael. There's named guardian angels that come from the wisdom traditions, and they appear across all traditions. They're named the same names in the Abrahamic religion. So Islam, Judaism, and Christianity have the same names for these beings.
Thanks, guys. Makes it easy.
Yeah, it makes it easy. But they also appear in Taoism, in Hinduism, Buddhism, under different categories, but they're always specific frequencies, specific intelligences that are here to mentor humanity. In Taoism, they talk about the guardian angels as having a religion, and their religion is humanity. The religion of the guardian angels is humanity. Their job is to mentor us. That's their purpose. So that's one order of frequency that I relate to, a specific frequency. They're not romantic figures with wings. That's art from the Renaissance. They are specific intelligent frequencies that have a much deeper level of knowing and can share with me through packed thought forms experiences that are useful for me, knowing that's useful for me. All of us have felt the nudge of a guardian angel, because we all have guardian angels around us. All of us have felt the nudge of like, turn left here, not right, or don't drink that coffee, or whatever the nudge is. But the invitation of this work is that you can have way more than a nudge. You can be in a back and forth conversation with these beings.
How practically, how do I tap into, I mean, is it Michael, Archangel Michael for me? And how do I know, how do I tap into them? And I'm mindful, I want to just be respectful of your time in a few minutes. How do people take that? Because I'm with you, I feel it. And I've had that nudge, but I don't think I've done nearly enough to say, I want to be in that relationship, right? And I want that guidance.
It's very simple, very straightforward. So do the meditation we did, central channel, heart chakra, activate it in the way that we did, and just sit quietly, sit still by yourself and ask, cast out into the field from this place, breathing in and out of your heart, being in the place that's more you than your own hands and feet. And just say, hey, I'm here and I'm here to listen, maybe for the first time in my life. but I know you're here, and I know you've been around me because I felt your nudge, but I would like to be in a conversation with you. I would like to form a relationship with you. And then just listen with your heart about what comes through. And stuff will start to come in. You'll start to get intuition. You'll start to get an absolute knowing that thought didn't come from my head. That thought came from somewhere else. And all of a sudden you're in relationship to the higher beings. And then it's a relationship that needs to be cultivated. Some people get these big downloads right away when they open up. Some people, it's a relationship that needs to be cultivated. The parts of your body are going to need to trust that this is so, that this can be trusted. But just like as we relate to our parts, relating to the higher powers is about relationship. It's about cultivating relationship, which is a daily experience if you really want to maximize it.
And I'm so glad it's so simple, right? And I love it. I just had a chuckle when you're like, just listen for the first time, right? I mean, let's keep it real, everybody. How often are we just not listening, right? Whether it's to our spouse, our kids, you name it. And to me, what I love about that, Michael, honestly, I feel my whole body. Surrender. That's how it feels like to me. And that commingling, let's face it. I mean, I've been so grateful to build a relationship with you. It's like 1 + 1 = 11 when you're in relationship with people that feed your soul, right? And that you trust and you respect and it feels good to be together. And that's how I feel like just listening to you give that really sacred guidance to getting centered, getting open, being in peace, and inviting them in to listen and surrendering to the process, who they are, what they have to say, especially as somebody like me who's so type A and has been holding so much and trying to control so much. It's like, oh, what a gift to just receive.
Just to let them love you.
Yeah. And to say, okay, I'm open. I'm listening with my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Michael, we are at time. I wish we had more. We will, but not in this session. You are the best. Thank you. I should say namaste. The light in me sees and honors the light in you in the biggest way. Thanks so much for being part of the power of manifestation. And honestly, I'm just so beyond grateful for your guidance today and all that you do. Up Spiral Life, guys. If you want more of Michael, you can get so much more of Michael in this course and follow him on social media because he is extraordinary. Every single day, he is bringing his heart, mind, all the chakras, all the essence, all the soul to help all of us in this incredibly important work. So thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Andrea. So good to be with you as always.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I hope you loved that as much as I did. Okay, so let's wrap up. You manifest not so effectively from what you want. Yes, that clarity is important, but the real magic is manifesting from who you are. So let me say it again. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. And you are a collection of frequencies. You are a collection of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. It's all energy. And like I said at the top, you can't fake it. And that is the best news because guess what? You can hugely impact it. And I'm just going to recap the main points that Michael and I discussed. And oh boy, I really hope you not just take it to heart, but that you actually take the time and effort, make it a practice so that you can be that incredible tuning fork, right? That tuning fork that says, here's who I am. And then you get all that what you really want back to you. So step number 1, the easiest and most essential manifestation tools, ding, ding, ding. Remember, sleep and exercise. I know some of you are gonna be like, oh, no, don't make it that. No, come on, make it that. Feel how good it feels, whether it's Pilates or yoga or walking. It doesn't have to be hard. Exercise has a bad name. Let's not even call it exercise. Let's call it getting yummy sleep that you deserve. You do deserve it. And moving your body in a way that feels good. All right. That's number 1. Number 2, clearing limiting beliefs is essential because as Michael really underscored, it's that 95% that's in our subconscious that's running the show, right? And if what's running the show are those feelings of unworthiness, it's going to be a whole lot tougher to think your way into that magnetic, amazing future, having the abundance of love, success, great health, all those things that you deserve, and I do too. It's a whole lot tougher if what's running the show below the watermark, that 95%, is at odds with what your conscious mind is putting out there. So you gotta do that work. And like we talked about, it makes it so much easier when you do. Okay, number 3, your energetic anatomy. This is more you than your hands, your feet, and your face. From the top of your head down to the perineum, all those chakras. Michael obviously gave us a beautiful exercise that any of us can do, starting maybe a few times a day to dozens of times to really, if you want to go all in, maybe for you too, hundreds of times per day. There are a lot of different chakra kinds of exercises, but listen, to really capitalize on the law of resonance, you can't skip this part because we are energetic beings. And personally, I have done a ton of chakra work, and in the words of Joe Dispenza, tapping into the energy centers, and it's been a game changer, honestly. Game changer. You can't skip that part. Okay. And number 4, your spirit guides are there. They really are. And so I urge you to get into that quiet, open space, that open-hearted space, and invite them in and listen to what they have to say and surrender. And to me, this idea of this is intuition. This is the greater cosmos, the universe, these spirit guides. It is coming. I always think of it coming, radiating to and through me. And boy, does it ever feel good when you feel that sense of, okay, I am divinely guided and honestly divinely protected. And you are. I urge you to tap in and then really surrender to what they have to say. Okay, and finally, I'm going to add my own last one. I know we didn't talk about this, but to me, guys, this is a big one. And it is simply smile more. Smile more. Because when we smile, we are sending such an important signal to our bodies, to our nervous systems to help us relax. I mean, the muscles in our face, it taps into our vagal nerve. I mean, there's all the medical and scientific stuff that we're not even going to get into right now, but it sends a signal within when we smile, and it sends a big signal without. And it is the most, I would say, the kind of the easiest, quickest thing we can do, even when we don't feel like, we're feeling crabby, we're feeling grumpy, just to say, what can I feel grateful for right now? What can I smile about right now? That is practicing the law of resonance in what might feel like a microwave. But if we do it, and I'm doing it too, I'm not asking you to do anything I'm not doing, daily, many times a day, even when we don't feel like it, that just continues to prime our bodies and prime our brains for those higher energy emotions that are key to winning in the law of resonance. It is not something you can outsource, guys. It is all that internal, beautiful work. And as somebody who has come from, so much distress and hurt and heartache and has crossed the Rubicon in such amazing ways, I'm excited to have brought the session to you and talked with Michael. I've learned a ton. I hope you've learned a ton. And a quick final reminder, if you aren't using the Power of Manifestation handbook, I really urge you to grab it. You can get it literally instantly right now at thepowerofmanifestation.com because there are so many opportunities, yes, to take notes and remind yourself what you loved in every session, but in terms of just having the journaling prompts and affirmations and reminders of what to do, this is just such a gift that you will give yourself so that you can embody these lessons. And yes, of course, add what resonated most with you. I encourage you to do it. And if you're like, yep, I don't want that, I just want to write it down in a notebook, that's great too. But do write it down, take those notes so you can come back and really internalize everything that resonated most. And even some of the things maybe you weren't sure about that you want to come back to and think about. But this is it's all about practice. It's all about mastery. It's all about taking those actions to make the change required so that you are experiencing more abundance, more success, better health, amazing, lasting love. All of those things that we are excited to experience right there with you and are experiencing. So that's it for now. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next amazing Power of Manifestation session. Thanks so much for joining this one. I'm so glad you were with me.